Oh! Now, what could this be for? Hi, I'm Rachel Bilson, and this is Let's Unpack That with InStyle. Oh my gosh. Okay, there's a lot of stuff in here. Oh dear. Aww. This is me and my girl, KB, Kristen Bell. We did a cameo for Gossip Girl. I was working on a show called Heart of Dixie, and she came to the set, and while we were filming a scene, we literally just took like 20 minutes, and Kristen and I shot this on the set of Heart of Dixie. She's the voice of Gossip Girl. I don't know if you knew that.
You are not going to believe who Gossip Girl is. Wait, Gossip Girl is real?
Kristen and I have been friends for a really long time. It was really fun to actually film something with her because we've done a lot of things in life together, but we've never worked together prior to this Gossip Girl cameo, I think that's right. Any shows I would love to make a cameo on. Pure Enthusiasm, because Larry David is the love of my life. No, not Jeopardy, that's too much pressure. I like to do it at home, but I couldn't do it actually in front of a camera. Holy terrifying. Okay, so this was one of the first red carpets I think I did during the OC, the first year of the OC. And as you can tell, fashion of the early aughts, jeans under a dress, which by the way, totally cool with wearing that now. Once again, everything comes back. I have a vintage patchwork, maybe 80s purse, a ton of bronzer, a lot of makeup because we came from the set of the OC straight to this event. Well, clearly, as you can see here, the evolvement's a word, is it? Evolution of my clothing. Well, you know, I'm a lot older now, so I think that plays into my style choices. I'm okay with it though. This is something I look at and I'm not like horrified. I'm young and it was a choice, and a strong choice at that. Next up, oh boy, Magnum Ice Cream bars. So I did a commercial for Magnum. It's supposed to be the Pacific Coast Highway, but they flew me to Thailand and they used an old road and they made it look like PCH. But I ate so many of these Magnum bars. I got really sick from eating them a lot. Ah, The Last Kiss. This might be my favorite movie I ever did, even though it was the first movie I ever did. This was my first film. And we shot it in Montreal, Canada during the summer. And we all had so much fun together. Zach and I are still friends to this day, Zach Braff and I. Just the best memories, such a talented cast, and I just think it was such a good movie. Tony Goldwyn directed it, who I love, did an amazing job. Very fond memories. Zach Braff is a super talented director, actor, and Tony Goldwyn the same. So having both of them to work with and collaborate with, and they made me feel so comfortable and confident. It just gave me permission to really go for it and do what I wanted to do, and it was the best experience I could have had, especially for my first film. What is this? What is this? Did I design this? It's like a cape, like a capelet. I don't know what you would call it. It has sleeves. I designed a line with DKNY called Edie Rose. So Edie was my grandmother, and Rose is the grandmother of my baby's daddy, who I'm super close with. I think I was approached by DKNY, and I really liked their brand and everything they kind of represented and the aesthetic, and it was casual and simple, and that's kind of how I am. So it was a nice fit. I mean, this is pretty special. Probably a lot of it, if I looked back now, I wouldn't wear it. But this isn't bad. It's cute. Little capelet of sorts. Let's see what else is in this trusty bag of mine. Oh, a stethoscope. What could this be for? I played a doctor on a show called Heart of Dixie. And every time we were filming, I would always put these in backwards. Never could remember how they went. And if you ask me right now, I still couldn't tell you. But I wore them a lot. And I played a doctor. And the medical stuff was not easy. It kind of reminded me of Sweet Home Alabama, and I'm a real sucker for romantic comedies like that. Obviously the doctor aspect. I was always a little like, how am I gonna do this? How do I say this word? How do you put in a stethoscope? All those things, but I loved that show. It was a feel-good show, and that's what was appealing to me. Like, I could still be funny and goofy and all of the things, and a doctor.
What are you doing?
Some physiotomy.
I can't let you slice open pills like that. That is way too dangerous.
I'm gonna have no choice, okay? This baby comes out now, we lose both of them.
We had a med tech on set with us, so that's a professional doctor, physician, you know, and they would have to show me how to hold things. I learned how to suture. Couldn't still do it, but you know, I had like a dummy hand and I had to learn how to actually suture. But it's just remembering all these things and your lines and doing it all at the same time was really hard. Actually, I think I was made fun of for playing a doctor, and some of my cast members and I put out a rap video in response to the haters talking all the smack about me playing a doctor.
I'm an innovator, a resuscitator. You only part dead past the defibrillator.
Actually, Wilson Bethel, who played Wade on Heart of Dixie, wrote it, I think with his brother, and it wound up on Funny or Die, I think. This is like frightening. Now, I only think I know what this is because it's like a Buffy guy. Spike the Buffy guy here, and I assume it's in this bag because I was on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. However, I don't think I spoke. My first appearance was on a show called 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter, which was with the late John Ritter, who was the nicest man. I mean, I was a day player. I had no lines. It was gum chewing girl. I was gum chewing girl. I sat there and I chewed gum, nothing to do. And John Ritter could not have been nicer. And that was my first acting job, chewing gum. I don't have memories of being on Buffy. I feel like, was it like a sex scene or something? Like, I feel like that's like, you know, in my mind for some reason. I have no idea. I'm a little scared to find out. These? I did a few episodes on the show Nashville, and I wore glasses, like these, I think. So I sang karaoke on the show. I think part of it was like, all right, you're gonna go on the show in Nashville. I was like, I'm gonna go on Nashville, but I'm not gonna sing. I'm like, isn't it like a singing show? So I think that's why they worked it in where I sang karaoke, which is super random.
You think you know me well, but you don't know me.
I don't karaoke often. Okay, oh. Now, what could this be for? There was a photo shoot we did during the OC where they had oranges everywhere, but we were like laying down on this like clear plexiglass. It was the most awkward position ever. And those pictures just come back to haunt me all the time. It's like so weird, and all these oranges, and yes, oranges will forever remind me. I'm doing a podcast now, so I'm revisiting the OC on Welcome to the OC Bitches podcast with Melinda Clark, who played Julie Cooper, and there's things that I did not remember at all. And I'm watching the show basically for the first time. But playing Summer was so fun because she started kind of so one-dimensional, and she had like the coolest arc, you know, by the end of the show, she really became a cool person. And I loved playing her. I loved her and Seth's dynamic, Adam Brody's character. It's definitely one of my favorites of all time. I was super young, so that's weird, but other than that, it's been really fun to see. We've been able to catch up with people because of this podcast. I hadn't spoken to Peter Gallagher or Tate Donovan or Kelly Rowan in so long, and we got them on the podcast. I've been texting with Ben, Mackenzie, and Adam Brody a bit, and it's just cool to reconnect in that way. The only person prior to the podcast, Josh Schwartz, the creator, he's literally like my brother in life, so he's always been around. But other than that, I hadn't seen or spoken to anyone in a really long time, so it's been really fun. So watching the OC back, first I was super impressed with the Tijuana episode where Marissa's character like overdoses on all these things, and I'm like, Misha was like 16 or 17. And the dedication in that episode and what she goes through, I was like kind of blown away. Like, she took it all on as a teenager, and I cannot even imagine what that would have been like had I been her age. The OC gave me everything. It was my first actual show, and I've never lost touch of that. So grateful for everything that it did, and I miss it. You know, it was really cool to start out that way, and I was fortunate enough to be surrounded by the people I was, and it's really fun to revisit it like I'm doing now. Well, there was a whole lot to unpack in this very large bag of mine, some frightening and some very cool. Actually, it was all cool. It was cool to do a little trip down memory lane. So thank you so much InStyle for having me, and yeah.